everybody. I have not made a YouTube video in so long, but I have been going through a few different deals here, you know, just regular life outside of being a goon and with a wannabe race car. I switched jobs, going through all that good stuff of getting settled into the new job and all that good stuff, you know. So that can always be difficult. I've made a couple purchases since I did the last YouTube video, how to look. I think the last one was I was putting the power glide in the S10. And since then, I've finished the power glide swap on the S10 and put a shifter, whole 9 yards in. So the truck's drivable. So in this video, I'd like to go over some of the stuff that I've skipped over videoing, give a run on how I did it. And another addition to the channel, the purchase I was talking about, is this Cummins to pull the race car. I'm really happy to have new things to make content with and whatnot on here, but this video will probably be boring to those that came to watch me break something or do a big rolling burnout, but I give you a walk around the truck, some of the things have changed, some of the things that are the same, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And I promise it's getting back into season. We've actually got a couple ideas of places I'd like to go test here in the near future, and even some events that I'd like to attend. So you guys just stay tuned for that, and I'll show you what we've got going here. All right, so it's still, you know, the good old 82 shitbox S10 with a 5.3 in it. We're still on the radials. I've got a set of slicks that are, you know, the ones that I broke the axle with. I've still got those on the Chevrolet pattern wheels. I need to get those mounted on my Ford wheels. This fuel cell right here is not mounted down yet. This is the standalone cell for the second kit of nitrous this year. And then, you know, just the regular one. Good buddy of mine, George, back, did all the fixing on the fuel cell for me, put my outlets and the fuel cap and the feet to mount it and whatnot. Did all that for me. You know, now we got to run 2 bottles. We run 2 plate kits. This is the only kit that's plumbed right now. I just had the bottom bracket mounted. I still got to run fuel lines from that cell over to the Holly Blue that George also hooked us up on. So we'll be running 2 Holly Blues, 2 bottles, and then we'll come up to, we have a Corbro that sits even with the top of the cab now, it seems like. You got the bottom plate is the plate that's plumbed right now that works. I think the 250 jets are in it right now. And then the top plate, eventually I'm going to switch them. The top plate I'd like to make my primary kit because it's got really big, a lot bigger solenoids. You can see, you know, I have a lot bigger nitrous and fuel solenoid than I do on the Winnie Hut Jr. primary kit right now. And put the bottom kit on like a button for a scramble button. I've got to get another regulator and do some switching around on that. I want 1 regulator if it'll work out and I can get the fuel pressure that I need. I want 1 regulator to feed both kits of nitrous and 1 regulator to feed the carburetor, if everything works out right. I gotta do some pressure checking and see what solenoids need what for what amount of nitrous. But anyways, I bought this throttle bracket. This is actually a couple days of being on here. I always ran a really janky homemade job that I welded up and made work. The only thing that I have against this throttle bracket is part throttle. Trying to, like, okay, so you're sitting in the idle and you're trying to ease forward. The pedal's real stiff until you get it about an 1/8 inch down, seems like. I got some adjusting to do there. But everything else, engine is exactly the same as it was last year. Still the BTR stage 4 truck cam. You know, they sound killer, make good power. They're kind of a smaller end cam, but they're cheap, affordable. And coming inside, so you guys know that the power glide that I built was George back built it for me, was a 182 gear set, stock case power glide with a TCI Pro brake in it. I want to say that he got 6 or 7 clutches in the, don't hold me to it. I'm not really great with my transmissions, but in the high gear clutch pack, I believe it's high gear, and he's been really helpful. I'd actually made a couple boo-boos putting it in. He'd helped me straighten everything out. I run a B&M shifter. This is the simplest shifter I've ever had before in my life. Right here's your trans brake. Once you get back into low gear, you literally, and you're done. That's it. You launch in low and bump it one time. It's just coming from a guy that ran a Advance Auto fast gate shifter, you know, good old run of the mill, whatever, $130 shifter. That right there, that's shit in high cotton in my book. But you know, we're getting there. We're spending some of those hard to come by hundreds. But back in here, I need to move my tack around, which I never look at it anyways. It's just pretty much there for looks because, you know, when you're hanging onto this thing barreling down the track in an 82 model aluminum can death trap that's shaking like the Apollo, you ain't looking at a tack. But still run the cage. There's a couple bars I'm going to bring through the back of it. I've got them cut somewhere in here. See? Yeah, they're over there by the sandblaster. But I've got them notched and cut and measured and shit. I just got to bring them through. Give you a look under. I run a Summit pan, deep pan. It's set up under here. Nothing too crazy. You guys probably ain't never seen before. Yeah, it leaks oil. What don't? Rear ends 8.8, same deal. 456 rear gear, rear disc brakes. The trans brake deal that I ran into that I was going to try to tell you guys about is, so I have a FTI trans brake solenoid that, you know, big, beefy, whatever. I bought it off the eggs. I think it's like $127. But I had it, the way that I had it wired is I had power to one side of the switch and then a wire coming out the other side of the switch to the hot wire, the positive wire on the solenoid. And then the ground wire on the solenoid, I just put under one of the pan bolts. Okay. It would engage and work, but if you stayed on the brake for like more than 3 seconds, it was burning up this little switch here. And that switch, like I said, I'm no electrician. I just go as it, and eventually I'll fuck up enough parts till I do it right. But that switch is only compatible with 5 amps before it, I guess, burns it up. So I had to run a ground trigger relay, and I watched a video on it on YouTube, and George, he kind of helped me out. So pretty much what I've got it figured to be is these 2 wires you tie together. You don't use this one. You know, it's just a schematic. If you guys have any questions about that, I can maybe put a link to that guy's video in the description or something. It was really helpful. Like, he took a piece of cardboard and built the circuit out on it and kind of helped me a lot. But now we run a 5500 style converter from Freak Show, which, to be honest, the brake, getting it up on the brake, it's a little sluggish. I think it's maybe a little too much for it, but we're going to run it. And maybe we may get it restyled, maybe we won't. I really don't want to pull that transmission out this early in the season after just putting the damn thing in there, you know. People told me that 5500 was probably too much, but I'm the one who foots the bill for this shit, so I'll do what I want. And if it fucks up, it's on me. So that's where I'm at on that. I'd really like to get the truck somewhere where it's really glued and sticky. The no prep stuff, I can't wait to get in on, but the first couple passes of the truck, I'd love to be on a glue track. Had to put some glue on this header down here. The exhaust gasket. I've never ran exhaust gaskets before in my freaking life on one of these motors. And the first time that I use one, it fucking blows out and about burns my plug wires and burns all the pretty paint off my valve covers. This side over here was so close to the steering shaft when I built the engine that I had to beat the hell out of that header. And if I'd put a gasket on it, just that thickness, that gasket, it would have been in my steering shaft. So I didn't do that on that side. But this side got a gasket and it blew out. So we're glue on both sides now. Good job, the glue. I'll fire the truck up, get it up on the breaker, maybe for you. May go out and do a little test hit. We got Evan out here to film. So, see what we can get into. Like I said, I'm fired up here. I've got a couple clips I'll upload of me doing shenanigans. It's probably out of gas because I don't buy gas, but let me try to find a wrench and here's a 5-inch wrench. We've been building go-kart gears with a torch because I'm too cheap to buy a rear gear for a go-kart, so I've cut it out with a torch and fucked up about 3 of them. So, hopefully it fires up. I put a new battery terminal on it. I know the last video when I was pulling it in the garage to take the 400 turbo out of it, it was trying to burn battery terminals off. It don't do that anymore. I'm gonna open up this garage door so it don't blow my iPhone speakers out. And that's not cool. Put that door in. Skyrocketing because of our lovely president, I have devoted to run only distilled drinking water in my fuel cell. It's easier to come by. I use my mom's big kettle for spaghetti to boil my water, and I run pure distilled drinking water in my fuel cell now. So I recommend everybody switch over to that. This year, I think I'm tired of donating to racetracks, entry fees, and going out first round. So hopefully the little 5.3 will huff a bunch of nitrous and maybe go to the second round this year. Because that would be lovely because, you know, it's no fun having to, you know, get there and unload your truck and then load your truck back up and then 30 minutes to be on the property. But that's what I've been doing for the last few years. So maybe that'll change this year. We've got so many projects going right now. Like, come walk out here and I'll show you what we did yesterday. I cut some plate out to plate the tongue of my trailer. I'm gonna buy one of those Harbor Freight winches because, you know, I'm cheap as fuck. I welded this big plate right here on the tongue. Don't look at the welds unless you've got the money to pay for the welds. The winch will be here. And to be honest, I may just sell my race car and switch over to this unit. This unit right here is a full-blown ripper. And then the Cummins, we'll do a Cummins walk around in this video. Later on, I'll go into more depth about how I like it and what I'm gonna do with it. But right now, this is a 2001 Dodge Ram 2500. It's got a 5.9 Cummins, 5-speed transmission, 4-wheel drive, you know, black tires, chrome rims. It's been in an accident. The front's black, you know, it didn't come factory like that. The bed sits funny, but the bed is the only thing that has rust on it. Everything else is a rust-free truck. I'm pretty sure it's not from around here. The frame is spotless. We're gonna paint the frame and all that jazz, and I'm gonna paint it the same color as I did my Silverado that I usually pull with. So walk around, I'll show you. We were gonna start pulling this year with the EMS Metro, but we just changed our mind. So we're just gonna use this. This is inside the Cummins. don't have a radio that works. It's, like I said, the 5.9. I'll give you a little fire up here, you know. She's a full-blown ripper. But, I hope I'm start making more videos. You guys are, you know, I've got 200 and some subscribers now. It's more people that live within 100 miles of me, so that's pretty cool. That tells me that there's 200 people that have nothing better to do than watch some guy that blows a lot of money have fun in his garage, so I appreciate that. Hope you guys share these videos. I'd really like to get more subscribers on board. So there's a lot of builds going on. The S10's, it's a constant build. It's always breaking and doing dumb shit. The Cummins, I thought to really get it nice and have a nice dependable diesel vehicle. And the trailer, you know, I've got to get a nice trailer, but I appreciate you guys for bearing with me even though I wasn't making any videos. Stay tuned, and guys, we'll catch you in the next one.